Welcome. You're watching Rugby with Rifle, a podcast about all things rugby and life, with your host, Danny Pabone and Rifle Scudder.
Welcome to another episode of Rugby with Rifle, a podcast about all things rugby and life. As always, I'm joined here by my friend Rifle. Rifle, how are you doing, sir?
Doing very well. Thank you, Danny. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. I was
Good.
mentioning to you finally some good weather up here in the Northeast, New Jersey. So very excited about that. Spring is here, summer is around the corner. So
Yeah, most definitely. I agree.
good weather and good rugby, as we had mentioned before in other episodes. This summer is going to be action packed
Yes, going
with
to
a
be a
lot
good
of
year
rugby
for
to
rugby.
play. Yes,
Yeah.
very, very excited about that. So, in this episode, everyone, we are going to continue our series about the different club level leagues around the world. In our past episode, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it, please. We talked about the United Rugby Championship, which is a league that is headquartered in Ireland. So please go check out that episode if you haven't yet. And we're going to continue the series talking about today the Super Rugby Pacific competition or league, as us Americans will probably call it. And this league is made up, well, it's been made up of different countries. I know, Rifle, you had mentioned to me before that the South African teams, which are in the United Rugby Championship League now, or competition, were actually part of this league up to like 3 seasons ago, correct?
I think until 2020, I believe it was. Yeah.
Okay. So not too long ago that the four South African teams, which are the Bulls, the Lions, the Sharks, and the Stormers.
Correct. Yeah. Very good, Danny.
Okay, getting
Yeah.
there, getting there.
Very good. Yeah. We used to be part when the Super Rugby started. I think it started off with, I believe, I mean, this was when I was still at school in high school. So this is going back to the 90s. Was Super 10. There were only 10 teams that
Mm,
played. But what happened was because you've had the Six Nations that we've done previously on our show as well, that was a regular and all teams played. But then those clubs of all the Northern Hemisphere, they played against one another. And then the Southern Hemisphere clubs from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, that's before Argentina was even in the mix, we would play one another. And that was called Super Rugby. So you
mm.
had Super 10, and then it became Super 12, then Super 14, then Super 15, as we added, different teams from different countries, different club teams. So that was really, really good rugby. It was nice, just the Southern Hemisphere. So you got to know the Australians and the New Zealanders very, very well, watching them week in and week out. So that was great rugby, super, as I say, 10. And then I think it ended with Super 15. And then, yeah, for a couple of reasons, I think 2020, when COVID happened and for a year we couldn't play, something happened. New Zealand decided to have their own competition and they didn't ask South Africa about that. That was one of the reasons. So the South African Rugby Board felt left out. Another reason is just the traveling,
Mm.
the different time zones. So if South Africa, if one of our teams played in New Zealand, we would have to wake up 4 or 5 in the morning to watch a game. So that the time zones, that was another difficult part of making a competition well. And just the travel, literally, if you fly from New Zealand to Australia and those teams playing against each other 3, 4, 5 hour, but South Africa having to fly all the way to New Zealand, back to South Africa, then to Australia, it takes months away from your family. You're away from home, on the road, jet lag, so there are a couple of things that just added to it. But yeah, so South Africa used to be part of Super Rugby, but as you correctly said, not anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense that, especially jet lag. I remember I mentioned to you that here in the States, I guess I really didn't think about that. It makes sense because here in the States, the leagues, the largest time difference here is 3 hours.
Yeah.
If any sport, if a East Coast team is playing a West Coast team, it's like a 3 hour time difference, and usually the teams fly in the night before the game or of the game, sometimes even, and you have a few hours before the game starts. So, but when you travel, what's the flight from Australia to South Africa? Like 14 hours?
Oh
13,
no,
14
no, way
hours?
longer than that.
Oh, is it?
Most of
Wow.
the time you fly over a day, so you'll fly on Friday, you'll arrive there Saturday night.
Oh,
So
wow.
the time differences, how you get there, it's rough on the body, and then
Yes.
expected to play 100%. After a trip like that is just it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So
Yes, it is.
jet
Can't
lag
imagine.
is horrible thing, yeah, for sure.
I struggle sometimes with the few times I've been to the West Coast of the United States with a 3 hour difference. I can't imagine 17, 18, 19 hour difference. I can't
Yeah.
imagine that. That's
Well,
rough.
us now from here, where we are currently now, I mean, my family, my brother, and then they live in New Zealand, and they 17 hours
Wow.
ahead. So it's always when you try and get hold of them, literally the next day plus a couple of hours if you want to speak to them. So it's crazy, just that time difference. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a toll on the body. So yeah, so that's pretty interesting. And so let's get right to it. And to continue with the history of this league, rugby league, um, even this year we've had one change, and that is another team that's you won't see here on this chart here is the Melbourne Rebels, which is another Australian team that unfortunately up to this season was in the league, but unfortunately they have some financial issues, and I believe the team have filed for bankruptcy protection and was pretty much forced out of the league pretty much because of those financial issues. So the team this year, last year was 12 teams. This year, Super Rugby is left with 11 teams. And we see here the breakdown here. We have, well, here we have 6 New Zealand teams, but technically the Moana Pacifica is made up of players from the various Pacific islands. However, they're headquartered in New Zealand. So that was interesting to see. And another funny thing, right, for just looking at the players and just looking through the teams, I couldn't pronounce 70% of the players' names in this league.
Yeah. Especially the South Pacific Islanders, they very, the Australians, they're okay, but the
Yes,
Pacific Islanders, they have sometimes names that are very difficult to pronounce. Yeah. So
yes.
I, I'm with you
So,
there. So.
so the Pacific Islander athletes, please forgive me, and I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce your names. So give me a couple years to learn your names. Um, but yeah, and then we have one team from Fiji who who is part of the league as well. Another thing about Moana Pacifica, they were a team that was selected to play in the British and Irish Lions tour. And that's because the Melbourne Rebels were supposed to play in the tour, but since because of their financial difficulties, they were replaced by the Moana, Pacifica team. So yeah,
Yeah.
so they're gonna
And
go up
Moana
against.
Pacifica, their captain now, I say everyone would know him, but everyone in the rugby world would know Ardie Surveyor, who plays for New
Mm,
Zealand, was Player of the Year when the World Cup was held in France. And he used to play for the Hurricanes in Wellington of New Zealand, but now he's moved over and he's captaining the side. I believe his brother's there, so he wanted to play with his brother. So they're back together again, and they've done quite a bit of damage this year. They've beaten the Crusaders, which are one of the strongest teams, and I think they've won the competition the most out of all teams, New Zealand's Crusaders, and
Yeah.
they beat them. And 2 weeks ago, they beat the Waratahs. So they've been doing pretty well. So under Artie Surveyor's leadership. So good for them.
Yeah, yes. And you had mentioned the Crusaders. I think this league has been in existence about 30, coming up on 30 years. I think next year will be the 30th, well, technically 29th because the 2020 season was cut short because of COVID. But the 30th year anniversary of the league forming. And I think I saw Crusaders won 14 titles or 13 or 14 titles.
Yeah,
So
they
yeah,
definitely the team in the competition that's won it the most. They're way out there.
yes.
Yeah,
So they're the I guess they're the always going back to football. They're the Patriots of the
yeah,
Patriots slash Kansas City Chiefs now.
yeah.
But then again, but of
Or
the
in
Super
in
League.
in the years that they were, just winning everything. I mean, they had, if I just name, they had Richie McCaw, that played for them, and Dan Carter. So you had New
Yes.
Zealand's two top players in there, and they played for the Crusaders. So they really, in those years that they had those players, Conrad Smell, I mean, they were great. They were just, what a phenomenal side. So very good to watch.
Yep. And uh, Daniel Carter, who you just mentioned, currently holds the record for the most points scored in the league. And so yeah, so that's, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I read Mackenzie is in the distant second or third. I think Mackenzie is number three. Another player is number two, but both of them are this. They still have a couple hundred points to score before they catch up to Carter. So
And
Daniel
Carter,
Carter
yeah.
is currently holds the record for most points scored in the league in the history of
Mm.
the league. So pretty interesting. So just to move on, I just wanted to let's talk about the league format. So again, in the world of rugby, everyone, it's not necessarily like in American sports win and losses. Um, it's more about a point system. And again, watching the Six Nations tournament, and then talking about the United Rugby Championship League, it's all about a point system. Now, this point system is a little different from the URC and the Autumn Six Nations in the fact that a win is, well, actually, now that I look at it, it's the only difference is the part that scoring four tries or more in the USC and Six Nations, if either team scores four tries or more, you get a bonus point. However, in the Super Rugby, if a team scores three or more tries more than the opponent, you get a bonus point. So I believe that's the only difference in this point system from the USC and the Autumn Six Nations. That's the only difference. Everything else is pretty much the same. And the league format, we have 16 rounds or weeks, and then each team has two byes or 2 weeks off throughout this. Obviously, not in a row, but throughout the season has two bye weeks. Each team plays 7 home, 7 away matches. They play 4 teams twice and 6 teams once, which obviously equals 14 matches in the season. And then the top six uh, at the end of the season, after round 16 of the point system, the top six clubs go to the playoffs. And this is interesting because when I first read this rifle, I was like, six? Wait a minute, six? That doesn't. How are they going to do that with a quarterfinal, a semifinal, and final? You need 8 teams at least for that to work out. So if anybody's doing the math, they were like, wait a minute, how could you have a quarterfinal, semifinal, and a final, but only have 6 teams? We'll find out very soon. It's very interesting that um, the the 6 teams play each other, and then whoever wins those 3 matches, the fourth team is the highest ranked loser. So that's how they solve that problem. And then they get re-ranked 1 to 4, and then obviously always the highest ranked team hosts in the playoffs, throughout the playoffs. For every match, the highest ranked team hosts. So yeah, so that's pretty interesting. They're the top 6 teams. But then again, there's only 11 teams, so
I think a reason for that is sometimes, not always, but if you lose and you keep on losing, then halfway through the season you feel, well, the season's over, let's just start focusing on next year. But here there's that incentive that even if you are on the losing side and you're one of the losing teams, if you are, as you said, the the best loser or the loser with the highest points, or you still got an opportunity. So there's always that chance that you can still go through. And I mean, if you get to the end, like we say in these competitions, many times on any given day, any team can win.
yeah.
So it's just that incentive to not give up, even though maybe you've lost your first 3 games of the competition and think, oh, the season's done, we're dead. No, you can still go, because even if you are on the losing side, if you are within, the best loser, you still get the opportunity to go through. So that just gives the guys everything to play for, even though maybe your season didn't start off well, or for whatever reason you didn't do very well.
Yes. Yes, and again, that's the beauty of this point system, that um, you know, you could lose but still get bonus points. And those bonus points could play a very important part at the end of the season, whether you make the playoffs or not. So, so yeah, I kind of, I was just thinking about this the other day. I was like, I wonder what will happen if the American sports, or not all of them, but maybe the NFL adopts this point system where they just don't look at win or losses. They look at a point system like this. It'll be interesting to see how that would pan out, and how, because the one thing with the NFL is home field advantage. If you have home field advantage in the playoffs, you don't play the first week of the playoffs. So that's a huge advantage to the NFL team that's number one in their conference and don't have to play that first week of the playoffs, because they have the number one spot and they have a bye in the first week of the playoffs. So it'll be interesting if probably won't happen in my lifetime at least, but it'll be interesting to see if the NFL will to adopt a point system like this. Would be very interesting to see. And we also see here the current standings in the league after week 9. 8 games have been played by each team, with each team having 1 bye, so 8 games plus 1 bye. That's why it's the 9th week of the season. And we have look at that, the Crusaders.
Crusaders on top
Surprise,
again.
surprise.
Yeah.
The team that has dominated this league for since its inception, pretty much.
Yeah.
They're currently number one, Chiefs number two, the Brumbies number three, the Reds four, Waratahs five, and the Western Force number six. So if the season were to end right now, those six teams will be in the playoffs, but we have another 8 weeks technically, because of the bye of matches. So it's a lot of rugby to be played in this league.
Yeah, very much.
And yeah, because Crusaders and Chiefs are only off by 1 point. So yeah, it's very close.
Now,
Very
I
close.
believe the Crusaders the coach for the New Zealand side now, he used to coach the Crusaders, but also played for them. And our coach, the Springbok coach, the Springboks, our coach, Rassie Erasmus, he used to play for the Cats. That was a team that we had. So he was, before they were the Cats, they put two teams together, but he played for the Cheetahs, which joined the Lions, and then they became the Cats. But he also played in the same time against, all, as I say, the coach now who coaches New Zealand. So they played against each other in Super Rugby back, in the 90s and early 2000s. So very interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting. And just trying to think in American sports terms, it's very interesting that you have so many coaches, former players as coaches. Like in the NFL, you have coaches that are former players, but not as many as you see in rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a coach in the NFL currently that was a player, a very good player, and is a very good head coach. Currently, I really can't think of
Yeah,
any.
because rugby now, England, Bortworth, he played for England.
Mm,
If you look at Ireland's coach, Andy Farr, he played for England as well. Paul McConnell, who's under him, he played for Ireland himself. You got from France, if you go over there, their coach played for France. So you got Rassi, who played himself for the Springboks. So a lot of the coaches now coaching the international sides actually play themselves. So that, as I say, New Zealand as well. Razor, he played himself. So a lot of, if not most of them that are currently coaching were international players. So I think that is wonderful because they've been there and they've done it and they understand. They're not talking, half time or before game and trying to pump the guys up with something they read in a book or motivational video that they've seen or something. They've actually been there in the change room. They've gone through it all. So I think that just does wonders for the game. And you've got players that have gone through everything and really have a deep understanding and revelation of what it takes to play at that top level. And now they've not just done it as a player, but they're doing it now as a coach. So I personally find that just wonderful.
yes, yes, that is pretty cool to see. Um, that and it's like you say, especially in the locker room or changing room is the term that's used in the rugby world. Uh, yeah, it's pretty cool to see, a head coach that, like you say, knows what the game was about, knows his players, knows, the passion of the game and everything. So yeah, so if you have a coach that's great coaching, but also was a great player, I mean that's just icing on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. Okay, everyone. So that's pretty much the league format for the Super Rugby, and I just wanted to, because I love, if nobody has noticed, watching this podcast, I just love looking up stadiums and stuff like that. So we're just gonna go quickly through the different stadiums here. We have Eden Park, which is in New Zealand. I believe it's in Auckland. That's
Auckland
where.
Blues. That is New
Yes.
Zealand's fortress. They haven't lost a
Yes.
test there. I don't even. It might be 50 tests. I think that I'm speaking under correction that they haven't lost a test match there. And when they found out, or when the rugby board came together and they put South Africa playing 3 games against New Zealand, guess where the Springboks are playing New Zealand? In Auckland. They're putting it all on the line because they haven't lost there for years and years and
Yeah.
years. And the Springboks are going to play them at Eden Park. So that's going to be a huge game. So we're all looking forward to that. Yeah, but Auckland Blues in Auckland, New Zealand. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
their strongest field that they play on.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. And I also read that I forget who the Blues played this weekend. I believe I forgot who the Blues played this weekend, but apparently they've, like you said, they're unbeaten at that
At Eden Park.
yeah, at Eden Park. So yeah, so they're very dominant at home,
Very
apparently.
much so, yeah.
And then we have the other three uh stadiums or fields, I should say. Um, so yeah, and again, this is for those who are rugby fans and New Zealand Super Rugby fans. Please do not take this as a disrespect to your stadiums. Please don't take this. It's really not. But I'm so used to seeing professional teams playing at like huge 70, 80,000 seat stadiums. Uh, So when I see the word stadium and I look up the picture, I was like, oh, it's actually a field. It's not really a stadium, but
Yeah,
it's just my American bias. And again, please do not take offense to that, New Zealand fans.
it is like that because, and as we've said on the program before, you can't compare just size wise. New Zealand got what I think 6
Hmm.
million people in the
Yeah,
whole nation, the whole country of New Zealand. So when you look at rugby, it is played like from grassroots level. If you go to South Africa or New Zealand or uh, any country that's really, really won the World Cup, England as well, grassroots level, people
yeah,
play on just normal fields. So you've got your hometown, and everyone in your hometown goes out to watch the game on a Saturday. And it's not in a stadium. I mean, it's what we say is a rugby stadium, like you see there, the Blues, Eden Park, or the Chiefs Field, whatever. What's the one in the right? Is that the Brumbies 1995 Geo Stadium?
yes. Mhm.
Brumbies are Australian. So there's well, it's not a huge, it's like local teams that grassroots level go, and that's one advantage that we have in the rugby world is that, myself as a little boy, I played at Ellis Park. I played on the Ellis Park Stadium where they had the 1995 Rugby World Cup. I played at, some of the stadiums, Kings Park, where we had rugby games and we toured. So it's how few players, young boys, can actually say they played in an NFL stadium. The stadium was open to them and their mom and dads came and sat there to watch a game. Very few. So that is a big difference between the rugby culture, the rugby crowd, the rugby people, and the difference between American football. So those are our stadiums, but just 6 million compared to however 300 million America
Yeah,
has. One big difference. So yeah, I don't think that people will take. Me as a South African doesn't take any disrespect. We're proud of our smaller stadiums and where we play our games and do that. So that's wonderful.
yeah. And again, it's just my American bias. I guess is the only word I could think of. Uh, just because again, and we've spoken about this many times, is The amount of money that's poured into sports in this country is just unfathomable. We're talking about, you know, I don't know, no total, but hundreds of billions of dollars between the teams, merchandise, games, and all that other stuff. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. Was that the GDP of many
Yeah,
countries
all the
around the world?
countries.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
so yeah, it's just amazing, crazy. But I am looking forward to going to my. We haven't yet, but we'll definitely one day go to a live rugby match or game with you, Rifle. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Just that.
You'll only be allowed if you have the right colors. You have to wear
Okay.
green and gold, otherwise you're not going with me. That's all I'm saying. We're friends, but that's where it ends, my friend. If you're not wearing green and gold, you
Okay.
sit on the other side.
Okay. So
No, that will be fun. And even now, I mean, this year I've already put it out to our group. There's some games in Washington, D.C., so we can go and watch those games. The American Eagles are going to play. I think we're actually playing Scotland at one stage. So that's a
mm,
big game in the summer here at home in America. So we can go out and watch those games there. That's really fun.
oh yes, and that's gonna be in Washington D.C.
Washington, D.C., correct. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm there. You don't have even have to ask me. I'm there.
Yeah, good. It's going to be fun.
That's only a 3 hour drive for me, so
Yeah, yeah,
not
very
too
good.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next set of stadiums here. Um, I love the Sky Stadium. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool stadium.
They call it the Cake Tin
Oh, do
because it
they?
looks like a cake tin. My brother lives in it's in Wellington. So that's a capital of New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
So their stadium is called the Cake Tin, they name it, yeah. So, players that used to play for the Hurricanes that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, Ma Anonu, who's playing now in
Hmm.
France, 42, the oldest player to play in that league. He was centers with their captain, and they both played for the Hurricanes. And as I said
Mm,
before the program or early in the program, that's where the captain now for Artie Surveyor for Manoa Pacifica, he used to play for the Hurricanes as well. But I mean, they've had wonderful players. But you've had there, as I say, Ma Ononu. He played in the centre with the then captain of New Zealand, the All Blacks, who's also gone. I think he's help coaching now at Mana Pacifica. So they've got some good players.
mm.
But yeah, that stadium is called the Cape Town.
Yeah, yeah. Say cake. How do you spell that?
Cake, as in eating cake.
Oh, cake.
Cake, cake.
Oh, okay.
Cape Town.
Okay. Okay. Got
Yeah.
it. I thought you. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I like the just the design of the stadium, circular design like that. That's pretty cool. To see. And then we have the other three, and that's another. I guess I have to add it to my bucket list of just traveling to New Zealand and visiting, Eden Park and just visiting. I mean, I've actually have a friend who's visited New Zealand before, and he says it's such a beautiful country.
It is
So yeah,
gorgeous.
so we might have to take a trip there, Rifle,
Yeah,
one
that would
day,
be wonderful.
one day. And
Yeah.
like we said before, business class or first class. I can't take that ride in economy class.
Yeah.
Okay, so our last set of stadiums here, we have another stadium that's pretty nice, is Suncorp Stadium, and that's where the Reds play.
It's in
Alliance
Queensland,
Stadium.
Queensland Reds.
Okay. And then we have Alliance Stadium as well, where the Waratahs play, and HBF Park, where the Western Force plays. And so yeah, so that it's pretty cool to see all these the different stadiums. Some large, some smaller, and I guess you bring up one very important point. We're talking about in New Zealand's you know example is we're talking about a country of what, about 5-6 million.
I think six
So
million
yeah,
people now. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, so it's different than the U.S., which has I think the last count was 370 million, probably more
yeah.
now.
Mm,
Uh, probably creeping towards 400 million nowadays.
mm.
So yeah, so it's pretty cool to see and watch. I guess the closest thing to some of these stadiums that we see throughout the rugby world is MLS. The Major League Soccer, the soccer league here in the United States. Those stadiums tend to be a little smaller, like between 15 to 20,000 capacity.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, so that's our journey through the stadiums. Again, I just love looking up stadiums and learning about them. So it's pretty cool to see. So there's one play that I wanted to show everyone, and this play occurred this past weekend actually. I believe the game was on Friday. I believe this game was played on Friday, this past Friday from the time of this recording. And this is the Waratahs against the Chiefs. And the one thing why I wanted to show this play was um, I have to look at. I mean, I didn't look it up, but I wonder if this is the longest in meters wise, the longest play in the league history. And why I say that is because let me just show the play here. And let me just make this a little bigger here so that
that
everybody can
whole
see.
game was very interesting with the ref, the calls. I mean, it was just
Yes.
from start to end. If you go and read and see what the people say about the refing of a guy, I mean, this was what 102 meters about. The guy ran behind his try line and went, but just the officiating and oh my goodness, there was mayhem on the field at one stage.
Yes. So a lot of the rugby podcasts and commentators were questioning um, the the
Some of the call,
refereeing, if that's even a word, but it's a word for me today. Refereeing of this game. I guess that's in some aspects that's probably that happens a lot in American sports. Where if one team loses, it's like, oh, it's the team against the refs. Most of the time, it's just the fans talking nonsense because their team lost. But a lot of the commentators and podcasts are saying, yeah, the refereeing in this match wasn't that great. So we'll just leave it at that.
we'll just say to the people, the white guys are the Chiefs and the blue are the Waratahs.
Yes. So why I wanted to highlight this play here is because this play started in the okay, I'm gonna get this right, Rifle. In the Waratahs try zone, because Waratahs are defending the try zone, correct?
Try so it must be like 5 meters from their try line, within the 5 meters.
No, no, I'm saying so. So this is the actually this is the try line right here.
Okay, so they in
So the Chiefs, yes.
their own
So
goal box. Yeah,
okay, because in American sports, that will be the Chiefs end zone or try line. It's
Yeah, no, they're
backward.
defending. That's a
Yes,
Waratahs.
yes. So that's why when I first started learning the game of rugby, American sports, they always do things backwards. So yes, so this is the Waratahs defending the try zone or try line,
Try
and
line.
the Chiefs are literally a quarter of a meter away from scoring. So this is the setup. So everybody's thinking the Chiefs are going to score. There's no way they're not going to score. They're pushing, they're fighting hard. They got to this point, they're going to score. And this happens. So we have here Chiefs are about to score, or at least they think they're about to score, lose the ball, and then it's a race. Pass here, pass there, pass. This is just amazing. And there, my friends, is 102 meter try score.
They call from coast to coast, from the one side's try line to the other side, all the way through the field.
Yes. So, I mean, that has to be disheartening for the Chiefs to be literally a quarter of a meter from scoring, and then the other team picks up the ball and runs 102 meters to score their own try. Yeah.
The Chiefs had possession of the ball as well. It's not that even the Waratahs had possession. The Chiefs had the ball in hand
Yes.
and spilt out. So that was not good.
That's what you call, my friends, a very bad bounce for the Chiefs because the ball just bounced to the Water player and then they just took off. So yeah, so that was I can't imagine I can't imagine being at that game and being the person uh that walks out to, maybe grab a drink or some food, and then they come back and they see the stadium yelling and like, what happened? You missed the best play of the game. That's what happened. So yeah, that was just a crazy, crazy play, and I wonder if that's the longest meter-wise try score in the league. I wonder. I have to look it up. It has to be, if not the longest, one of the longest. So yeah, pretty cool to see and watch. Not if you're a Chiefs fan. Chiefs fan, sorry for you. But that was probably one of the greatest play against your team. So yeah, that is the league, Super Rugby League, everyone. And to end this episode, we, as always, wanted to show the results of the Women's Six Nation that's currently going on. This past weekend was week 3 of the tournament. No surprise here. Both France and England dominated. Wales, poor Wales. Whether it's the women's or the men's, it's just they can't get a win, unfortunately. And then we have England beating up on Ireland, and this claim was 7-5 at the half. So and then England it's like France in the Six Nations. They just put it into sixth gear in the second half and just dominated. And then the Italy and Scotland, I actually caught the Italy and Scotland game close at halftime, and Italy got the win. They had 0 points through week 2, but now with the win, they're on the scoreboard, and now currently, if the tournament were to end today, Wales will get the wooden spoon. But there's 2 more weeks to play, and we'll see. It's probably gonna be between Italy and Wales again to see who gets the, like in the men's side, to see who gets the wooden spoon
Yeah.
in the tournament. And for those who, if this is your first time watching, the wooden spoon is the team that either doesn't win a game in the competition or comes last in the competition. That is what the wooden spoon is. So it's definitely not something that you
You
want.
desire or play for.
And we always joke around, rifle, a wooden spoon is bad for you, but it's good for me. That's an inside joke there that we've said before. So the the one play I wanted to highlight here is a try by England, and let me just make this a little bigger so that this try was pure speed and determination by the English player. And please forgive me, England. I should have written it down. Yesterday, I saw the player's name. I was like, oh, I'll remember it. And of course, we're talking about it today, and I don't remember it. Should have written it down. But the English player that scores this try was just pure determination and speed. Because this play, as we're gonna see here, so coming out of a ruck, we have a pass here. Another pass here that drops on the floor. So you think, okay, they lost momentum. And then, boom, speed. Wow. It's just amazing. So the ball was dropped on the floor. You think, oh, they lost momentum. They were moving, they lost momentum. And then we have this player here pick it up and just speed and outruns everybody and scores the try. And by this time, England was already up by a lot. So Irish, good try, but unfortunately, England came out being England in the second half. So yeah, so that's week 3 of the Women's Six Nations tournament. And then we have 2 more weeks. They play next week, and then the final, well, not the final, but the last set of matches is on April 26th, if I'm not mistaken. So a couple more weeks left in the Women's Six Nations. Looks like, so far England is far ahead, and it's their tournament to lose. Yeah, it's pretty much
They
their
should
tournament to
take it,
lose.
as you said, they're favourites for the World Cup as well later in
Mhm.
the year. So England, by all means, should take this competition as well.
Yep, yep. They all so far all 3 games have been pretty much no competition.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like as you say, England is currently number 1 in the world of women's rugby, and they should take this competition pretty easily. I guess France is probably going to be the only tough game. So we'll see here. Just like in the men's, well, actually the men's, I take that back. Uh, Ireland and no, yeah, actually, I take it back. France and France and England was the game that everybody was anticipating, And then France and Ireland was also a game that everybody was anticipating. Uh, on the men's side and on the women's side, it's going to be France and England. We shall see. We shall see which team comes out. So, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Rugby with Rifle this week. Again, this is a part two of a series we're doing on the different leagues around the world. So we have the top 14 to talk about, which is the French League.
French Rugby League, yeah.
Yep. And then we have the Premier, let me get the name right, Premiership. Technically, it's called the Gallagher Premiership League, which is the England's rugby league. So yeah, so it's going to be very interesting to see that. And a little production note, Rifle, maybe add the Major League Rugby to this as well, and talk about that league here in America in the future.
Yeah, that'd
So
be
yeah.
good. Yeah.
And in about 3 weeks, we have the British and Irish tour players announced. So that's gonna be very exciting and interesting to see who is selected for that tour. So, like we said, a lot of rugby over the next few months and in the summer. So yeah, a lot of exciting rugby to look forward to.
Excellent.
And one final thing before we end, I believe, Rifle, you're going to South Africa this summer.
In August, yeah. I
Yes.
should be leaving the second of August, I believe, yeah.
So I'm sure you're going to be catching some rugby games over there.
Most definitely, yeah. So one of the reasons is my school, well, my matriculate is having our 35th anniversary, so I'll be going out for
wow.
that. And then my school, which is Afrikaans school in South Africa, will be playing a big English school that week. And the same month that I'm there, Australia will be in South Africa for the rugby championship. So the Springboks will be playing Australia twice that month. So there'll definitely be a lot of rugby that month in South Africa. So really, really
Pretty
looking
cool.
forward to that. Yeah.
Pretty cool. I'm sure you are. So yeah, that's pretty cool. A lot of exciting stuff this summer in rugby, and for Rifle visiting his home country. I'm sure you're excited about that.
Very much, yeah.
So with that, everyone, again, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Rifle, as always, thank you, sir.
Very welcome. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yes, thanks for watching, and until next time, everyone, take care.
Cheers.
Thank you for watching this episode of Rugby with Rifle. Remember to press the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet to support this podcast.